back from the dead.
YouTubulous. So I'm gonna do a little bit of a introduction slash kind of operation of Sony DH590 receivers for swapping back and forth from basically when you plug in an HDMI cord to this and you're running it off your television. Every time your TV turns on, it wants to go ahead and throw it in whatever mode that it's picking up through the HDMI cable. So right now it's just set in 2.1 channel mode because my phone's hooked up to it. But when you go and it's going to say multi-channel or multi-stereo every time it's turned on. But the only issue with that is it's kind of hard to tell. I have a Dayton Audio 12-inch with a lavoce compression driver on the back. Wish I could show you the model of it. So it's a DF10.101LS. It's a very low wattage. I don't want anything crazy, but it's for another project in the future. But basically right now it's in multi-channel, so it thinks it's supposed to be in 5.1, 5.2, whatever you want to call it. So right now I'm hooked up to the left or the right. So playing music is not that noticeable, but you play a movie, you're going to barely get anything out of this right now until something live action happens, and then everything else is going to want to come out of this center channel that, well, doesn't exist right now because I only have one speaker hooked up. Even if I had two, left and a right, you're missing out on a lot of sound. So I'm going to show you guys how to go into the menu and get it to where, even though it may not say two channel stereo, it'll say multi-channel stereo, but it's going to be in 2.1 mode, so you can run a left and a right with the subwoofer outputs in the back, or the LEF, or whatever you want to call it, for the sub out. So with that, we're going to go into the menu. We're going to go to amp menu. We're not worried about calibration, so we're going to go ahead and go down. Not worried about level. That could be for another video. We're adjusting the level of each speaker. And now we're going to go to speaker. We're going to go to pattern. See, right now it's in 5.1, 5.0, 4.1, 3.1. So you could run a left and a right with a center channel, and I'm just going down. 3.0 with no subwoofer, 2.1. And then we're going to go back. So now every single time that you hit the 2-channel and multi-stereo, so we'll focus back in. Right now it's in 2.1. And then obviously if you switch it, it'll be 2-channel stereo, which won't have the subwoofer output on. Multi-channel, now that it's physically logged into the amp menu for 2.1, every time you turn on your television, it's going to be 2.1. So I'll show you guys again if I didn't quite have the camera. So we're going to go to amp menu, push amp menu on these Sonys, and we're going to scroll down, speaker, inputs, surround, EQ. I guess I blew by it. No, I gotta go back up. My bad, guys. Hold on. So speaker, push the center button for the speaker, and you're at the pattern. So I'm gonna push center button for pattern, and then right now see how it's set in 2.1 mode. So now, like I said, once you're in 2.1 mode, if you're running just a left and right with the subwoofer, that's all you have to do is leave it, set it and forget it, turn on your television. No matter what your Netflix or Amazon Prime is going to tell this receiver through the HDMI cord, it's only going to broadcast in 2.1, so that way you get full sound out of both your left and right speakers, and possibly if you had a subwoofer. I could not find any videos on YouTube of how to do that, so I figured I'd make a quick video. I've owned four of these now. This will be number 5 that I'm doing for another customer, and I've not found any videos, and it took me a long time to figure that out too, because even if you read the instructions for this, it just kind of tells you about it. It doesn't tell you that if you actually set it in there, it stays. And then another thing with amp menu, if you want to do level, that's your front level. So if you're in 5.1 surround sound, so that's your front left, your front right, it's your center level, surround left, surround right, and your subwoofer level. So basically, like if one of your surround speakers is not loud enough or is too loud, of course, see how it's grayed out? We're in 2.1 channel mode, so I guess we can go to front left. So I can increase it or decrease it. Just leave everything at 0 because we're not doing nothing. All right, go back. So there's other options right now because it's not in 5.1 channel surround sound. But in the 5.1 channel surround sound, in a previous video I made, I did briefly talk about how you can actually set the distance, the floor distance from each speaker from your listening position. And of course these, let's see here, these come with auto calibration stuff, which eventually I would like to start using this instead of just manually setting it up with a measuring tape. But yeah, these are really good home theaters receivers to start out with, because if you are starting out small, you can run a 2-channel setup. Most people's houses aren't set up for, you know, your perfect home theater. And then if you ever wanted to grow, this thing has a lot more power. It's 145 watts per channel. And then you can set up a full 5.1 surround sound. Anyways, hope that helped anybody out that's looking to buy one of these. Maybe I'll do more of an in-depth tutorial of how to set everything up. If I have a 5.1 channel surround sound, I'll set it up in the garage, and then I can do the distance test and everything else to show you guys how it works. All right, later guys.